We are a nation of immigrants, and with over 38 million foreign-born people in the United States today, providing assistance to them is an important part of the church's mission. That's why the United Methodist Church created Justice for Our Neighbors, or JFON, a faith-driven ministry that provides free immigration legal services, education, and advocacy. We welcome today Jenny Ansay, Regional Attorney for Justice for Our Neighbors in Illinois, and we also welcome Anna Casas, one of Jenny's clients, who was recently issued a U visa for victims of violent crimes. Thank you both for joining us, Jenny and Anna. I really appreciate you sharing your stories today and a little bit more about JFON. So Jenny, I wanted to start with you and tell us a little bit more how Justice for Our Neighbors got started within the United Methodist Church.
Justice for Our Neighbors is a ministry of the United Methodist Church. It was started in 1999 through the United Methodist Committee on Relief, or UMCOR. And it was started in response to one of the harshest and most immigrant-unfriendly laws on the books called IRA, which was passed in 1996. It made it really difficult for a lot of people to immigrate here and just caused a lot of problems for people who were interested in immigrating here. So the United Methodist Church saw that issue and decided to do something about it by forming JFON.
And so they have, what, several clinics around the nation, and then we have one here that started in Illinois?
There's clinics all over the U.S. in D.C., Baltimore, Florida, Arkansas, Alabama, New York, Nebraska, Iowa. There's a brand new one in, I think, New Hampshire or somewhere in New England, and one in California. Northern Illinois started in April 2011, and we had a national program attorney, Danny Upton, who sort of manned the clinic until I came on board October 1st of 2011.
And tell us a little bit about how you came on board and why you wanted to be involved in this mission work.
Well, my parents are immigrants here to the United States. They're from Poland, and so growing up we didn't really speak that much English. My parents were janitors, we didn't make a ton of money, so kind of grew up in a sort of poor immigrant household and faced a lot of the same challenges that a lot of immigrant families these days face. Despite, having been born here, being first-generation American. So I sort of came up through all that and, was successful in school, was able to go to college and then law school, and decided that, after having those experiences myself, I wanted to sort of give back and work with the kind of people that I identified with by doing immigration nonprofit work.
And Anna, you're one of her clients. What brought you to JFON, and how did you come into America, and what made you seek help through JFON?
Well, I came to America 11 years ago, illegally, with my mom and my brother and my sister. Around 2005, I was, like you said, a victim of a crime. And I stumbled upon the Methodist Church by one of my mom's friends. She sought help from them. And then a week after that, I met up with Danny Upton. And then after that, guided me to her. And after that, it's just been the best thing that happened in my life.
And so you have a U visa. Tell us a little bit more about that and how that's helping you.
Oh, right now I feel like a free woman. I can go back to school, work, don't have to worry about being here illegal.
And what do you hope now? Because it's a temporary visa, right? So what's your plans for the future?
So after 3 years, I can sign up for my residency and then just take it from there.
Tell me about the rest of your family and how difficult these immigration laws are, and what kind of things you face, and what do you struggle with the laws?
Well, it is kind of difficult nowadays, but thanks to the JFO program, I was able to get my mom, and my brother. So now all three of us have U visas. And I just hope that this program can help a lot of other people out there.
Without JFON, how difficult was it? Did you know where to turn? Or
yeah, it was very difficult. I met up with like 5 different lawyers trying to find a way. I didn't know anything about the U visa. So I was trying to figure out, is there another way that I can get my residency? It was really hard. They told me, oh, you have to go back to Mexico 10 years minimum. And that was not
an option when you've already been living here for
Yeah.
11 years. You've established your life here.
Yeah.
Can you explain some of the struggles that your clients go through?
Yeah, well, immigration laws are really sort of complicated, and there's a lot of misinformation out there, and a lot of people who are trying to take advantage of people seeking to regularize their status in the United States. So one of the issues that Anna mentioned is that there are certain bars for certain people when they leave the United States for coming back, and those bars can be either 3 years long, 10 years long, or permanently, depending on the way they got here, how long they've been here, and whether or not they've come back and forth. And obviously that's a big deal, right? For someone who's lived here for 11 years, for someone whose entire family is here, to be separated from your family for that long and not knowing, whether or not you'd be able to come back is really difficult. And people, the U.S. isn't usually super generous as far as issuing visas for a lot of people, especially from a lot of countries that require visas, basically non-Western European countries. So a lot of people have to come here by crossing the border without a visa, and immigration benefits for those individuals aren't usually super generous. The U visa is a great example where it is kind of generous because it's called waive that immigration violation. So like Anna came in here without a visa, the U visa was able to waive that. But for other people who aren't in a situation where they can apply for a U visa, they would either need to file a waiver, which not everyone qualifies for, and it's a very high burden, or they just have to wait for some sort of comprehensive immigration reform. And there's a lot of people, especially I know within the Latino community, it's a big deal. Like in Mexico, for example, notarios, like notary publics, are allowed to do a lot of immigration work and just kind of legal work. Here, they're not allowed to do that. They can basically, stamp your signature. But that doesn't stop them from taking advantage of people and having them pay thousands and thousands of dollars to fix immigration status when really there's nothing they can do, but they're just trying to get their money, and then they file something to show that they're doing something, and then kind of leave. I see that a lot with clients that I see too.
And a lot of your clients live in fear of being deported, of not being with their family, like you said. In some way, how many years before they are granted status, legal status?
So certain people, there's certain family members that can petition for other family members to come stay in the United States. If you're petitioning for a U.S. citizen spouse or parents, if you're 21 or older, it's immediate. It takes a couple months. Everyone else who qualifies to petition for their family members has to wait in a line, and that line can be up to 20 or more years long.
Amazing. Tell us a little bit how your work with JFON has changed you, and the help that you're providing when you see Anna here and how happy she is and that she feels like she has a future here in the United States. What does that mean to you?
Well, so this isn't easy work. It's really complicated. I work long hours. I'm here on a Sunday. Pretty typical for me to work evenings and weekends and stuff like that. But people like my clients, like Anna and stuff, make it all worthwhile. Because you really make a big difference in people's lives. And immigration is one of, in my opinion, the highest stakes sort of legal concentrations you can have. Probably second only to criminal law because of the penalties involved and stuff like that. So it's really sort of stressful and high stakes because if you mess up someone's case, you're messing up their lives essentially. But just knowing that you're able to help someone navigate a really complicated system, it is a great feeling.
And what about the churches involved, like in Aurora, the church involved there? It's really radical hospitality. Are there volunteer opportunities?
Yeah, there's a lot of volunteer opportunities, and you don't have to be a lawyer. You don't have to have any experience in immigration.
Thank you both for sharing your story, and the work you do is amazing, and as we can see, it's making a difference in people's lives. It's wonderful. Thank you both. I appreciate it. And I'm Anne Marie Gerhardt for Different Drummers and the Greater Chicago Broadcast Ministries. Keep the faith.